Hey, two, check. Hey, hey. Hey, one, two. Hey, hey. Hey, 1 2. Hey, hey. Hey, 1 2. Hey, hey. Hey, check 1 2. Hey, 1 2. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Hey, 1 2. Hey, check. Check. Hey, hey. Two. Hey, 1 2. Hey, hey. Check. Hey, hey.
Good. Good morning. Welcome. This is so exciting. Second year of being live and in person. I couldn't enjoy it more. I'm so proud of all the accomplishments. But I wanted to start with asking you to join me in acknowledging the lands on which we are gathered today are the ancestral lands of the Lenape people, whose presence and resilience in Pennsylvania continues today. To get started, my name is Ann McCullum. I am the chair of the board at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, and I am the first female chair in 217 years. Thank you. I hope you'll be more enthusiastic with your praise for what we accomplished together. But I will leave that to my colleagues to the left to talk more in detail about what they want to achieve and what they have achieved as we celebrate everyone here and what you've achieved, whether you're almost a newly minted alum of PAFA, or you're a family member, or you're an ardent supporter. None of us would be here today without you. And it makes it very special to be in this space with our speaker today, Saya Wolfach. When I first met Saya, she was setting up for this exhibition, and it's her work that surrounds you. I said, finally, I can get married. I feel at home in your space. I encourage you to come back and enjoy Saya's work when you've got the soundtrack playing, because it is transformational and it can really show you where art can take you. And you need to remember as you progress through your years that your creation is our creation. And by our creation, I'm speaking globally. The impact that each of you can have with a very intentional practice is tremendous. And it may be one of the strongest forces on earth. You have the power to do that. And it is my great pleasure to celebrate that power. As a board, we work very hard with the faculty and staff to make sure that you are the best and most talented artists, to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to create the work that you do. We want you to reach deep, to innovate, to explore, to create a new world, because I think we're all feeling that what we need today more than ever is a new world. So we have a glimpse of a new world as we sit in Saya's space. And together, I know that you will march through our doors and work to create that new world elsewhere. To the parents and supporters here, thank you so much. I don't have children. I'm so impressed and so proud of the decisions that you made to encourage your children or your friends to really pursue a degree that is deeply meaningful to them and has deep meaning within this world. You are an important part of that because you're the first patron that an artist knows. And we're forever grateful for all that you do for our kids. So I talked about me being the first female chair. You'll hear from Eric Pryor. I'm sure many of you, or if not all of you, have met Eric Pryor. He is the first leader of color here, and I hired him 8 months or so after I was elected. You'll also be joined by the ever so powerful Reggie Brown. I'm essentially just phoning in my speech because I call him Reverend Reggie sometimes. He brings it. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say to us today. and to Lydia, who is our president of the alumni group. Lydia, if you want to wave so that everyone notices you. And then there's Anna. Anna Marley is our chief of curatorial affairs. And I'm sorry, I can't see your face and the mask, but hi, yell out your name. Kevin Richards, of course. Sorry, I'm enjoying going naked, face-wise. I'm going to leave you with a few thoughts. First, for any of those of you that know me or you follow my Instagram page, you know that poetry is one of my passions. And I want to encourage you, just as this past weekend, I encouraged all of the PAFA community to really remember every important milestone in their lives and be grateful for it. Today, I want to speak about the power of intentionality and dreams. So for that, I chose a brief poem by Langston Hughes. And that poem is, "Hold fast to your dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. Every moment of every day, we are presented with choices. And I ask you to take a moment to consider yourself, to consider who you are and who you want to be, and use that intentionality to move forward in the world. You can do it. You've done it, based on all the beautiful work that I saw across the street last night. It is my honor to have you as part of BAPA's 219-year legacy. It's also my honor to step away from the mic and hand it over to my dear friend and Vice Chair, Reverend Reggie. Come on, Rev.
I don't know, with that kind of build up, you're going to go down. The true Reverend is my wife, Aaliyah, so I am not the Reverend Brown, but I am Reggie Brown, Chair of the Board of Governors and Vice Chair of the Museum Board. And I stand before you to offer a few words. First, I love that cow hat. I was watching you early this morning coming in here. I stand before you to offer a few words of encouragement and a testimony of a few things I've learned in my own personal journey. First, you are joining the role of some of the most recognized and accomplished artists in the nation who started from this academic institution. You studied the canon, and here you're developing your own. In fact, you have not completed this segment of your education alone, and you need to stand up right now. Stand up, please. Turn around. And I need you to look and thank mom and dad, grandma, uncle, aunt, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whoever they may be, and thank them and give them a round of applause. They walked with you, they supported you inherently, and they're here today by you standing on their shoulders as you enter the world of your next leg of your journey. As a chair of this institution, I'm a university trustee at another place, and I'm a board chair of another art organization, and I have a holistic view. And the debate of affordability of higher education rages on, no question. However, I point your attention to the social impact and relevance of the creative or cultural economy, which accounts 4.4% of the US gross domestic product, GDP. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a Wall Street guy, and I think numbers, the bottom line. So that 4.4 of the GDP is north of $1 trillion of cultural impact, of real impact in our economy. Because of this impact of cultural forces, which you are now entering as an artist, there's a dark side. Censorship and outright bans. I couldn't stand before you today without speaking on what is happening currently to artists, which you are one of them. You are charged with the responsibility of documenting what is seen, what is felt, or the futurism of everything. Without artists, a society dies in darkness. This is evident by the empirical actions of witness events recorded by journalists, and I'll start with the Ukraine. December 20th of 2022, Russian military forces under the orders of President Vladimir Putin ordered the pillage of thousands of artifacts and artworks from 2 museums in Ukraine. Forces looted cultural institutions to rob the Ukrainians of their national heritage. To bring this closer to home, March of 2023, this past March, the leadership of Lewis and Clark State College removed 6 works of art about abortion and birth control in the exhibition, citing state anti-abortion law, which is an affront to academic freedom and freedom of expression. It seems to me that we are knocking on the door of 1941, 27 years before I was born, to revisit President Roosevelt's 4 freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom of want, freedom of fear. 2 of these 4 under attack: freedom of speech and freedom of fear. Now, when President Roosevelt was talking, he was preparing the United States to enter the World War II, which 11 months later, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. And he was talking about freedom of governments on individuals. For artists, you are charged with documenting and capturing what you see, what you feel, and then plotting the course where we're going. I charge you, the graduates of the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, to just that. Capture the beauty of a 17-hand Parisian during dressage. Kids playing an inner city fire hydrant, or unjust acts by government representatives on the people which the government represents. To dream of the future, I have some advice for you. Have a plan. I guarantee you where you start today is not where you end in your journey. Fail big. You learn the most of the most spectacular failures. It's scraped knees and broken bones, and mending that is what makes you stronger. And as you document what you see and you learn from relationships, it takes you to one step closer to your final chapter, which I hope for you is like 80 years from now, maybe 70, see what happens. I charge you to be a student and capture new things and continue your learning paths. I could not end my talk today without referencing what I'm seeing in society, particularly charging against artists. The Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts can't be silent in these unjust acts of censorship. We can't graduate you without inherent support of the work that you want to put forth. Whether your next journey is in design, whether your next journey is as an artist, metal education, however you intend to use your education that you are granted today, going forward, we, PAFA, must support you. I'm encouraged about what you're going to do. I champion not only how you're thinking, what you believe, but who you are. I don't care who you are, I care about what you believe. To believe as an American is to inherently believe that you are free in thought, free in speech, free in actions as governed by the law. And if you break the law, you must face the consequences of our laws. And that stems from the highest office down to the common man. So I charge you to go forward and be a proud American. The canon of art captures every narrative. It's not thin, it's wide. It's not shallow, it's deep. And it's deep enough to capture what you put forth as an American artist. No matter where you come from, you graduate this institution as an American artist. I congratulate you. And thanks for allowing me to address you, and then congratulate all your family members and friends who are here to support you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Now I call forward the president and CEO, Mr. Eric Fryer.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know, Reggie. Ann may have been right. Aaliyah may have the divinity degree, but those words were truly inspirational, so thank you. First, let me start off by welcoming the families, our distinguished guests, faculty, staff, and most of all, our graduates of 2023. I'm deeply honored to be standing here and have an opportunity to share this moment with you here today. The first time I interacted with many of you was last year at Open Studio Night. Boy, was I in for a treat. First, I had no idea just how many studios I was going to be visiting. And so when I went in, I taught art in the past, so I tried to interact with as many of you and talk about your work, and it became a really, really long night. Let me just say that. But what I realized in those conversations that the depth of the talent here at PAFA was so deep, and that your commitment to your practice, your creative practice, was truly apparent, and that you really had a passion for what you do. Because one thing you all know, and I know Saya knows, and anybody here who's had an artistic practice, it is not easy to be an artist. It's a tough role, and it takes a lot of courage because you're expressing who you are, putting it on walls, and oftentimes when you are in the background looking at what you do, people are talking about it, making comments, have no idea oftentimes that you're the one that created that work. And it takes tremendous courage. So I really want to just tip my hat to all of you for taking that step of courage and embracing your creativity, embracing who you are as artists. So at this point, also yesterday, it was so apparent when I walked through our ASE, our annual student exhibition. Well, first of all, the show looked absolutely amazing. But I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, wow, they were just blown away by your artwork. And so I think it's only appropriate in this moment that we give all our graduates and exhibiting artists at ASC a round of applause for their work. See, now, one thing about PAFA, and I learned this from my good friend Algary, and I'm going to share with you that now you're part of an unbroken line, the unbroken line here at PAFA, that you're part of a long, illustrious legacy of great artists, people like Mary Cassatt, Angelica Akinele Crosby, Henry Oswald Tanner, and David Lynch, just to name a few. I mean, you could go on and on. And while we have a small group, PAFA punches so far above its weight. There's so many just incredible heavyweight artists. And now you're amongst that group. And that's an amazing feat. PAFA has been at the heart of contemporary art since its founding. And Reggie spoke to all of you as American artists, because that's what this institution is about. When the founders of this institution created it, they realized that America needed an artistic legacy. And they began that legacy here. And now here you are. As part of that legacy, you should all be extremely proud. I know I'm proud to be a part of that legacy, and I hope you are as well. So one of the things I wanted to share that I felt was important, when I graduated some years ago with my BFA and MFA in painting, it wasn't altogether clear to me how my artistic training would translate into life, my life. How was I going to survive in this world? It wasn't clear at all to me. But over time, it did become clear to me, because I realized that it prepared me as a critical thinker. It prepared me as a creative problem solver. It prepared me as a communicator and a collaborator. And these are all things that I came to realize are, I like to call them 21st century skill sets that I could take in whatever I do. And I had conversations with many of you, and they say, you know, do you paint now? Do you still make art? And not so much. But what I recognized, because of those particular skill sets, that the work I've been able to do as an administrator, as an institution builder, is a creative process. And so that has essentially, for me, become how I express myself, is making sure that we're able to build institutions and forge them and take them into the future. See, when people look at folks in the business world who create industries, you know what they call them? Visionaries. Well, I'm here to tell you, the original visionaries are artists. It's you. You're the visionaries. And so that's so important to remember, because ultimately, you're able to conceptualize ideas, and then you're able to take those ideas and implement those ideas and make things real. Most people, they have a dream, they have a concept, and it never goes beyond that. Every time you're in your studio, you take a vision, you execute it, you make it real. My friends in the theater business, they say, take it from the page to the stage. You do that constantly. And that's not an easy task, not at all. So I really, really tip my hat to you around that. The other thing I want to acknowledge is your resilience. It has not been easy for you. And I know that partly because I have two daughters that are very close in their journey to many of you. And you've traversed a pandemic. Part of when your time here, your education was interrupted. Part of your education here, you had to do online, and like, let's wrap our heads around learning art on Zoom. I mean, you mean talking about going through uncharted territory, but you all did that. You also dealt with whether it was wearing masks, social distancing, and just the whole emotional toll that we all felt in navigating COVID. Well, that which you experience is just going to make you stronger. Having gone through that, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. And so that's so, so important. The other thing I'd like to do at this point is to acknowledge, I mean, we all rely on other people. None of us get to where we want to go alone. Similar to Reggie, I want to just acknowledge your friends and your family and your loved ones who supported you in your journey in getting your education. Let's give them all a hand. I'd also like to acknowledge your instructors. I know for me, I think, and I remember them just like that, the number of faculty that impacted my life. And so at this time, I think we want to make certain if there are any, we do have faculty, if you raise your hand, who are in here today, let's give them a great big hand. To have individuals willing, and I don't know about you, but I know for me, when I was doing my BFA, I never will forget one of my instructors. She gave me, it was a tough critique, and I left there and I called her a few names. I did. I was, you know. And then later on, I had other faculty and had some other folks that instructed me, and they gave compliments, and I realized how much the honesty of that one professor I talked about, how much I grew and realized how important it is to recognize when people are honest with you, they're going to tell you sometimes things you don't want to hear. But those are the things that ultimately will help propel you and help you grow and challenge you as young creatives. So that's so important. So I want to thank them for being dedicated to you and helping nurture you through this process. Now, I want to just close my remarks in sharing some advice that I give my daughters. And ultimately, what I tell them is, don't chase trends. I'm going to repeat that. Don't chase trends. Be authentic. Follow your heart. Trust your instincts, and success will truly come to you. All right? Now, congratulations to the class of 2023. You deserve it. Let's give them a big hand, everybody. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Chief of Curatorial Affairs here in PAFA in our museum, Dr. Anna Marley. Anna?
Congratulations, everyone. The show is moving, it is challenging, and it is filled with great skill and craft. So it was an honor to see your work last night. And it is an honor to introduce the brilliant, wonderful, kind, creative Saya Wolfach. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her before we welcome her, and just share a few thoughts about her and her practice. So Saya Wolfach is a New York-based artist who uses science fiction and fantasy to reimagine the world in multiple dimensions. With the multi-year project No Place, The Empathics, and Chima Tech, Wolfach has created the world of the Empathics, and we are surrounded by empathics, a fictional race of women who are able to alter their genetic makeup and fuse with plants. With each body of work, Wolfach continues to build this narrative of these women's lives and question the utopian possibilities of cultural hybridity. Wolfach received her BA in Visual Arts and Economics from Brown University in 2001, and an MFA in Sculpture from the Art Institute of Chicago in 2004. She has exhibited at museums and galleries and spaces throughout Asia, Europe, and the US, including the Montclair Art Museum, the Asian Art Museum of San Francisco, the Sheldon Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska, the Mead Museum of Art, MoMA PS1, the Warhol Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art Chicago, and the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. Works by the artist are included in the collections of major institutions, other major institutions, not just at PAFA, including the Whitney, that other Museum of American Art, the Mead Art Museum, the Weatherspoon Art Museum, the Newark Museum, the Chrysler Museum, and the Seattle Art Museum, where her major multimedia installation, commissioned and acquired by the museum, is on extended view. Wolfach is also the recipient of numerous honors, awards, and commissions. She's delivered public lectures at museums and universities, including a recent TEDx talk, which I highly recommend. She's represented by Leslie Tonkino Artworks in New York, and she teaches at MFA programs at Yale School of Art, as well as BFA and MFA programs at the Parsons, the New School for Design. And she recently installed a major monument to Coretta Scott King at the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change in Atlanta. So I would encourage you to look that up. It was a partnership with Hulu and is just one of 3 monuments that SIA is creating. And for me, as a scholar of the history of art and women artists and public monuments, I think it's remarkable that SIA is reclaiming the space of public monuments for women. And I find that very inspiring. She's also part of a major show of women landscape artists at the Thomas Cole House in the Hudson Valley. On a personal note, I have seen SIA's commitment to teaching through art, contemporary and history with the class that she recently taught as part of the Rising Sun exhibition through the University of Pennsylvania. Her perceptive artistic critiques of the past give me hope for the future. Therefore, I cannot think of a better speaker for the PAFA class of 2023. And that critique of the past and embrace of the future is fully on view around us right now. So congratulations, class of 23, and please join me in welcoming SIA Woolfolk. Embarrassed.
Hello. So I have all these words, but now I just have to take a minute to be in my body because it's amazing. Being an artist is amazing. Being an artist is also terrifying and horrible. So it's both. I'm sure you already know that. I'm sure you already feel that. I was going to say all these words, but I think I'm just going to talk to you guys. I graduated in 2004 from an MFA program, and it took me 10 years before I could make a living as an artist. I obviously did lots of other things. I had jobs. I, applied for grants. I moved around. I couch surfed. For a long time, I actually just had a bag that had a sleeping bag in it. And then I just go to residencies and have pictures of my family in my bag. And that was kind of my life. That sounds really sad, but it was actually remarkable. And the reason it's remarkable is because it allowed me to build a network of people and people who are my contemporary collaborators and people who continue to support my work all over the United States. So I think for me, the thing that I would have wanted to hear when I was graduating from school is be super persistent. Be persistent, keep working, keep trying, keep doing what you do. If you want to quit, you should, literally, because it's really challenging. But if this is what you really want to do, if you want to be an artist, if you're committed to it and you love it and you believe in it, and every time you're in the studio, you think to yourself, man, this is really intense, but I cannot do anything else. It is a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life of people committed to building these visions and these dreams. So I highly commend you for being brave and courageous and actually coming to art school and committing to it financially, emotionally. Your family and friends have committed to it financially and emotionally with you, I hope. Some of you may not have that benefit, but I hope that many of you do. And continue to build those relationships of support for each other. I mean, for me, relationships of support are what allow me to continue to work, right? So I speak to my mentor from graduate school, who has become my friend, one of my best friends in the entire world, Candida Alvarez, probably twice a week. And we talk about art, we talk about life, we talk about how we're going to make it work, we talk about where we're going. Like we're talking about if we might want to move somewhere, you know, it's a life. It's not just art, it's a whole life practice. So what do you want your life practice to look like? What do you want your life to be? And if you decide that you don't want to be an artist, how do you take those skills and become a creative professional in something else? I have so many classmates who are huge in the museum world, are incredible educators, like fantastic in like various other fields, doing incredible things. And they were fantastic artists, and they are still creative change makers. And that's also super valuable. The ecosystem, it's a huge creative ecosystem, right? So you don't have to do it just one way. And I think that's really important to remember. You have to do it the way that's right for you. It has to feel right for you. It's your life. You have one life, unless you believe in reincarnation, which I kind of do, but you know. So you only have one life. How do you want to live it? What world do you want to live in? Where do you want to go? What world do you want to build? And that's why in my installation here, I actually thought a lot about the worlds other people have built and how I want to build a world that looks different from that. I spent a lot of time actually thinking about Calder's City Hall down the street and looking at his sculptures and thinking about them and thinking about the story that they tell, with William Penn at the top and at the very, very bottom, the continents of the world holding up this American. I don't want to build a world like that. That is not a world I want to build. So I've built the world of the empathics. I don't want to build a world like that. And so I created a monument to Coretta Scott King in collaboration with her family. I worked with her daughter, Dr. Bernice King, spoke to her about the things she cares about her mom, personal stories, things that really, really matter, and then attempted to kind of connect that with the broader picture of her as a cultural change maker and someone committed to nonviolent social change. And that's my story, right? Like that's what I want to do with my life. What do you want to do with your life as artists, as people, as a cohort? And some of you, you know, may not have found a cohort here, but find your cohort, find the people that are going to be committed with you, forge this path with you, and you can do it. You will do it. Congratulations, and welcome to the crazy world of being an artist.
Thank you so much, Saya. Really appreciate your generous spirit, and it's amazing to be surrounded in this world that you built. So thank you. I'm Clint Jukel. I'm the dean here of the college at PAFA, and congratulations, graduates. It's been such a pleasure to see all of your work grow over the last year and 2 years, and your exhibition looks amazing. And I think what's maybe easy to forget when you're in front of your work is that it was a hard road to get there. Many of you faced false starts, circuitous paths, rethinking to get to where you are. And that is part of your journey, and it's part of the journey that will continue. And I know on a personal level, I really enjoyed being in the galleries over the last few weeks, where there was this incredible buzz of activity, and students were talking to one another, sharing ideas. Faculty were in the galleries sharing ideas. And to me, it really felt like a reflection of the community that you have all built. And it's a community that you will take with you beyond PAFA and into the world as you develop and nurture those relationships that Saya spoke about. And in many ways, you're just at the beginning of that journey. While you're here, you've learned from one another, you've asked difficult questions, you've taken risks, and you've expanded your practice in ways that you wouldn't have imagined. And you ended up in places that are different than where you thought you would be. PAFA's distinguished alumni reflect the long-term commitment that's required to be an artist, And you're now part of this group of dedicated artists who are dedicated to a lifetime of creative pursuit. And every year at commencement, we recognize some of our outstanding alumni. And it's my pleasure to introduce Lydia Hamilton Brown, who's the president of PAFA's Alumni Council, who will confer PAFA's Alumni Service Award. Lydia.
Good morning. And congratulations to the class of 2023. All of you now belong to a distinctive group of artists. Be proud of your achievement. It is no small feat. As creative individuals, you are a positive force in today's world. As president of the Alumni Council, I welcome you as freshly minted alumni of the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. I received my certificate in painting and was awarded the Scheidt Traveling Scholarship in 1973. I was the first student to use the award for domestic travel, giving future award winners the opportunity to travel the world. After years of exhibiting and teaching, I returned to PAFA in 2014 to receive my postbac, and in 2016, master's degree. PAFA was, is, and always will be a special place for artists. It is an honor to present this year's PAFA Alumni Service Award. The award is given not only for service and dedication to PAFA, but for sustained commitment and profound impact on the arts community. I am proud to present this year's award to Michael Kobas. Michael, yeah, not yet, that's it. Michael hails from Thunder Bay, Ontario, located on the North Shore of Lake Superior. He received his Bachelor of Fine Arts from Lakehead University in 1990 and earned a Master's of Art in Community College Teaching from Northern Michigan University in 1992. Michael relocated to Philadelphia and earned a Master of Fine Arts from this very institution in 1996. This is when his PAFA story began. From 1996 through 1999, he was a visitor service associate here before becoming the assistant director of the continuing education. Am I being bored? From that, he was a visitor service before becoming the assistant director of the continuing education program in 1999. He began serving as the director of continuing education program from 2005 until 2021. His commitment to the students and community of PAFA then and now is unmatched. However, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Michael's unique sense of humor. Everyone who knows him has experienced this charming wit. Although Michael has retired from the continuing education department, he continues to support the community of PAFA, as well as the local arts community, as proprietor of the Cerulean Arts Gallery. Along with his wife, Tina Rocha, they provide a space for artists to teach, exhibit, and connect with each other. I am honored to present the 2023 Alumni Service Award to Michael Kobas.
Thank you. This is a real honor for me. I came to PAFA in '94 for graduate school, and I knew nothing and no one. PAFA gave me a community of amazing people and set me on a path to a life in art, and I'll always be grateful for that. PAFA changed my life, and I've worked to give back and build community myself in the continuing education program and with Cerulean Arts. As you know, there's no job waiting for you as artists, so you must build it yourself. Along the way, there'll be challenges and opportunities, kind souls and naysayers. You'll have to take risks and maybe do things that you don't think you're capable of, that take you out of your comfort zone. But that's how you'll grow. And speaking personally, I've grown used to being permanently out of my comfort zone because I'm not built for any of this, including public speaking. But anyway, stay focused and have faith and you'll get there. And you'll find the demands of life will make it hard to work on your art, and you may be tempted to let it go from time to time. But you must resist. It's the one thing you've got that's yours and yours alone. It won't let you down. It'll keep you centered and give you the fortitude to keep going and do what needs to be done. As artists, we're all in this together, presenting an alternative voice. So you need to stay strong because we need you. Congratulations again, and I hope to see you at Cerulean Arts sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia, and congratulations, Michael. I want to take just a moment to thank all the folks who have supported you throughout your time here at PAFA and to make the ASE possible. There was so much work behind the scenes, folks that you worked with that maybe you haven't met before, you hadn't heard their names, the whole IT crew, Kevin, Joe, our development team, Tina, Jane, so many other folks. Grace Harmer, who was wonderful and helping make all the online platform sales possible, solving problems, I know, and finding ways to make things happen that might be out of the norm. And then all of the folks that helped put up the work, CJ, Jacob, Travis. We had Kate Moran and Jill Rapinski, who were in there on a daily basis, helping you. Kate, thank you so much. CJ Stahl, the student life team, Ryan, Pam, Peter Medwick. And I want to give a special round of thanks for Kate McCammon for all she's done. Over the last couple of weeks, but always, Kate, you are amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much. And Eric noted the faculty, and you all know the faculty are here for you in a way that is just absolutely amazing. They challenge you, they push you, they make you ask questions that you don't want to answer, you don't want to deal with. They pushed you while you were putting up your work. They did over the last year or two, and they care so deeply and they give so much. So Caitlin, Tom, Kate, David, Nisa, Renee, Kevin, and all the folks that are not here. Can we have another round of applause for them? So before we hear from the class speaker today, I want to take a moment and acknowledge some of this year's prizes. So there is a long list of prizes that undergraduate and graduate students receive. And at commencement, we like to honor the travel prizes and the museum purchase prizes, which are truly special awards. So with the museum purchase prizes, work is purchased from students from the annual student exhibition and is going to collections, which is a pretty amazing honor to have. So first, the Woodmere Art Museum Purchase Prize, which is selected by the Woodmere Director and members of the Collections Committee at Woodmere. This year was granted to Christina Denzel Bickford and Julio Gonzalez. And the Linda Lee Alter Purchase Prize this year was granted to Christina Denzel Bickford, and Linda's work is Lee's work is part of PAFA's collection and will come to PAFA. And the Judith McGregor Caldwell Purchase Prize, which is selected by PAFA's curators and comes to PAFA's museum, goes to Julio Galvez. And finally, I'd like to present the Murray Desner Travel Award. This award was established in memory of Murray Desner, a much beloved Academy professor and noted Philadelphia artist. It was Murray's longtime desire to allow a graduating MFA student to be inspired by travel, just as he had been as a student during the summers of 1965 and 1966. The award is given in consideration of the quality of the student's travel proposal, ASE exhibition, and their achievements during their time at PAFA. This year's recipient is Taylor Pate, and here to present the award is Linda Desner. So Linda. Thank you, Linda. And now it's my pleasure to invite this year's class speaker for the graduate class of 2023, Julio Roberto Galvez Monson.
Okay, bear with me. Good morning, President Eric Pryor, members of PAFA faculty and staff, classmates or friends, family, and special guests. I am humbled and honored to be able to speak as a member of the class of 2023. Today, we stand ready to pursue our goals because of your love and support. Thank you. I'm going to start talking about art. As we know, art is essential for the human condition, and it allows us to process our emotions, understand our surroundings, and it enables us to see life from a different perspective. It is so important that the arts were included into the STEM education program in the year 2012. STEM education program stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. But, they acknowledge that the arts were an integral part of the development of new ideas and way of thinking, which means that artists have a relevant function in society and our culture. As we gather here to celebrate the graduation of all these incredible artists, I want to come back to when we started the program. Boy, we were full of energy. We came with goals, expectations, and definitely everyone brought a different set of skills. The weeks went by and we began to interact, and we slowly developed our own community. We shared great moments with our faculty, with ourselves. And I want to say, we got challenged. Why red and not blue? I remember Kate Moran saying that to me. Okay. I remember every single one of my faculty telling me, or challenging me and finding a way to express my art in the way that it will thrive. And it happened to every single one of us. And our time at school was a safe place to nourish our art and to be able to express ourselves. PAFA provided those grounds to build friendships. It gives us skills to succeed, and our participation and committed to it and one another has truly enriched our lives. Today, we're going to graduate, and we can't forget our community. We have had the privilege to interact and the choice to support and help each other. Today, we start a new chapter that will bring experiences and challenges. But for whatever is ahead, we know that when we work together and cheer on and support one another, there is nothing that will stand in our way. In my closing remarks, I want to talk a little bit about rejection, because rejection is going to be a part of our life. It's a part of our careers. But I don't want to talk about the rejection that is around us. I want to talk about the rejection that sometimes we have inside of ourselves. And I think that we should never reject ourselves before giving ourselves a chance. And I would like to quote Joan Didion. And she said, to free us from the expectations of others, to give us back to ourselves, there lies the great singular power of self-respect. The strongest commitment we make is the one that we make to ourselves. Life will bring challenges and it will challenge what we believe. But what is in our heart is our truth. And that's the light that will light our way. Stay true to your work. It's your best friend and the only way that you will soothe your pains. The art that we create is a reflection of who we are and what we believe. To realize our best work, we must never lose sight of that truth. Our work will be subject to opinion and time. Its contributions and the contributions that we make to the lives of others is what forever will remain. My friends, my classmates, we have done it. Congratulations.
Thank you, Julio. So now we've come to the primary reason why we're gathered here today, to acknowledge the accomplishments of this year's graduates. Will the candidates for the post-baccalaureate certificate and the degree of Master of Fine Arts please stand? President Pryor, it's my privilege to present to you those candidates who have successfully completed the requirements for the post-baccalaureate certificate and the degree of Master of Fine Arts from the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I confer upon you, as appropriate, the post-baccalaureate certificate and the degree of Master of Fine Arts from the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, with all its rights and privileges pertaining to therefore. Dean Jukola, please present the graduates.
Will the graduates please be seated? Until the moment calls when your name has come, and then please come forward to receive your certificate or degree. And I would then like to invite Kate Moran and Kevin Richards to the podium to recognize the graduates. Kate and Kevin.
Thank you, Clint and Eric, and thank you to all the students. It's been an incredible experience to get to work with you, see how you've grown over the past year for the post-baccalaureate students and past 2 years for the MFA students. It's just been a really incredible experience to see how you've transformed your practices individually and collectively. A great thank you to my colleagues for always showing the way that we work better together and expanding our students' idea of what is possible in the arts. And a great thank you to all the friends, family, and supporters of our graduates. First, I would like to recognize those students who have completed a course of study leading to the post-baccalaureate certificate in art. When your name is called, please come forward. Jason Connor. Anna L. Gefke. Leroy David Nunnery III. Margaret M. Reiser. I would now like to recognize those students who have completed a course of study leading to the degree of Master of Fine Art in Studio Art. When your name is called, please come forward. Margaret A. Burse. Margaret E. Bennett. Christina Denzel Bickford. Marguerite Bosco. Haley Mackenzie Brown. Helen Hart Cardamone. Arda Ergen. Audrey Davis Fox. Julio Roberto Galvez Monson. McKenna Rose Glessner. Kelly Jean Lawler. Adriana Ruby Lobel. Eugen Han. Taylor Pate. Eric Peterson. Jaume Rosen. Rachel Elizabeth Saunders. Lasha Yvette Stewart. Sarah Elizabeth Swartz. Yeren Hoekhuis. Congratulations to all the graduates comprising the class of 2023. All my best wishes and hopes for your future.
Congratulations. Thank you, Kevin and Kate. Families, friends, please join us in the cast hall downstairs for light refreshments. And then please come back for the public opening of the student exhibition from 4 to 7. The galleries will be open throughout the day, so feel free to walk through at any time. Congratulations, class of 2023.